I hear this time and time again, and it's not just you, it's me, it's everyone all over the world. We all have this issue with staffing, and there are, many, many different ways, of course, of approaching it, and hiring and managing and all of that. But I, through a lot of trial and error, I would say that I have, really sort of develop some of the best systems out there in order to bring staff in and try and keep them and really develop them into that 5-star cleaning consultant, which is what you want. As you know, it's virtually impossible to grow your business or even keep the clients you have if the staff that you have out there aren't being those excellent ambassadors for your business. And if they're making mistakes, if they're not getting great reviews, of course, it's very, very expensive for you to fix mistakes and to send cleaners out there or to go and have to clean yourself. It's very frustrating. You're not alone. Again, I've been doing this for over 11 years now and made lots of mistakes in the past. And my goal, as with Glisson Academy and with all the consulting I do, is really to help you not make the same mistakes that I did and to really start from a much better position and to try lots of new things, give you some new ideas that will sort of hopefully help you spark some creativity. Everyone brings their own individual flair to their business. So anything I can do to sort of help spark that and, smooth things out for you is sort of my goal. Let's get started. I'll talk a little bit about myself and sort of where I came from and where I am today. And again, sort of my goals in helping you through Glisson Academy. We'll talk about defining talent. So really, who are you trying to recruit and who are you looking for out there? And it might not be exactly who you think. First impressions, this goes sort of for your clients, but as well just as much for your staff. What kind of impression are you giving to them initially? We'll cover a little bit on hiring process, training methods, management strategies, and then some sort of essential takeaways that if you forget sort of everything else we talk about today, what can you sort of do right now in your business to improve things? So, the one issue we all struggle with is attracting, training, and managing cleaning staff. And 11 years later, I still have challenges, all the time. And like I said, so do my clients all over the world who are business owners in this industry. So I do promise you that you can improve your staffing overnight by using some of the exact strategies that I teach you in my training programs through Glisson Academy. So just a little bit about me. So my background really is in marketing, so that's sort of always my specialty. I'm very big on marketing and branding and all of that. So that sort of, encompasses that professionalism and website design and everything that I'm able to do. So I have those skills, which obviously benefit me a lot. Cleaning, on the other hand, and managing staff, I've had to learn myself. So that's where my weaknesses have been and what I've taught myself. So I always sort of say, if I can learn how to clean professionally, anyone can. So I've been a marketing specialist since 2005. I founded a cleaning service after a 3-year stint in corporate communications and marketing because I really wanted to take what I saw was happening in the digital marketing sort of, sphere in terms of Facebook had just come on and, there was this sort of opportunity to connect with people through social media. And I really like that idea of small businesses being able to market themselves without having to spend any money because we all know how tight money can be. So I use digital marketing alone. I've never done any traditional marketing at all. And a lot of it was just through marketing, so unpaid. I founded my cleaning service in 2008, and it was an eco-friendly cleaning company, which at the time was very novel, very kind of, new and, different idea. So I built that into $1 million business within 3 years. I sold over 1.3 million US in residential cleaning sales using online marketing only. So that just goes to show sort of the power that online marketing has. My business also won, many awards for best cleaning service and some numerous additional awards. And a couple years ago, I really founded this Glisson Academy Elite Training, and I'm taking sort of all my programs and training and consulting services and everything and putting that into GLSEN Academy sort of under one really simple website that you can log into and access your courses and your training and give those out to your staff as well. Because I really think that's, that's how we have to run things efficiently as cleaning business owners. And so as well, throughout that process, because I had retired from actually running a cleaning business back in 2015, and that was because a business partner and I sort of went our separate ways, I decided I was going to go into consulting full time. But throughout this GLSEN Academy process and like revisiting how to train staff and hire staff and all of this, it just got me so excited again about running a cleaning business, believe it or not. I know how challenging it can be, but there's just something about it that I love. And so back sort of around the end of the spring, I decided, I may as well take all this and just launch another cleaning business. And so I have been using the Classic Clean program that I developed and the training programs I've developed, and I've been using them all over again, brand new in this iteration with new hires. I have people who have cleaned before working for me, and I have people who have never cleaned before working for me. And so sort of all the programs and training that I'm doing through GLSEN Academy are in the lab, so to speak, right now. And so I'm doing some revisions based on my own employees' feedback, and yeah, everything will be released in time for the the ISSA show in Vegas. So very excited about that. Some people are already in preview mode, have purchased the program and are using it with their own companies right now. So my point in this is basically that really we just launched in the beginning of July, and within a couple weeks I already had very high-profile clientele here in my city, including some NHL players, people sort of like that. And, as those are sort of the types of people that are very demanding in terms of wanting the very best out of services that they receive. And, money's really no object for them. So it was a real challenge for me, of course, to take new hires, again, both with experience and without experience, and really walk the walk and say, okay, yes, my program will work. I can train you to be good enough to clean millionaires' homes. So and that is what has happened. So that's great, because you can do it too. So we'll talk about defining talent, some of the qualities that consultants need to have, skills that they can develop as you hire them, how to attract and assess them. First impressions, so again, this is really about your website, your social media, the job ads you're putting out there, your reputation, both online and offline, online reviews, personal experiences that candidates have even had with your company. With hiring process, we'll talk a little bit about the application process, screening people, job interviews, putting in trial appointments for them to practice with, official job offers, some onboarding and orientation. Training methods, I'll cover theory and practical, online and hands-on, training homes, and evaluation appointments. Management strategies, and again, this can be a real challenge, especially if you don't have a background in managing people. We tend to become cleaning business owners because we're good at cleaning or we have skills in other areas. Even my sister, who's an HR consultant and specialist as a career, still doesn't really have a whole lot of experience actually managing people in a day-to-day area. So this is a challenge for everyone, so I'll do my best to help you with that. So this is, sort of day-to-day issues, performance management and reviews, communication with your staff, and then how to develop and motivate them. And then at the end, I'll just go over some essentials so you have some key takeaways, and then some advanced education you can get through GLSEN Academy to really help you and your business succeed. So defining talent. So qualities to look for in candidates. You really want to find people who take pride in everything they do. And I think that this is really essential. It doesn't matter if they're a cleaner, if they're a student, if they're a parent. It's really important to find people who have that quality. I would say that's sort of my number one thing, because when they're cleaning, if they are happy sort of leaving a job thinking that's 90% done, that's not good enough. So that's the number one most important thing for me. Of course, they need to take direction, and they also need to balance that with being able to take initiative. So of course, you want them showing up to an appointment at scheduled time, following the job order or instructions that you've given them, carrying out the type of service you want them to. But on the flip side, you also want them to take initiative to say, I know this isn't included, but it'll only take me a few minutes to do this, and I know how happy that'll make the client. Or if they're running late, that they can take initiative to let the client know or to let you know. So it's a real juggling act. You want somebody who can use, they want to be able to use their brain, but also be able to respect and follow your instructions. You want people who are empathetic and nurturing. So again, looking for people, for example, one of my best employees right now is a personal chef. That's her background. So she's that type of person. She also likes to, make bath bombs and do things like this. When she's a mom, so she's just you can tell she's a very nurturing, very caring person. And you want those types of people who are empathetic, who aren't going to go into a house and kind of, complain and moan that, oh God, they didn't even have time to clean up all this clutter. Oh, this place is so messy, that sort of thing. So looking for those qualities. And I do find that people, who are really into pets and animals and rescues and that sort of thing can sometimes demonstrate some of those best qualities. Of course, you need someone who is honest and trustworthy, always being careful never to trust anyone 100%. I have had many issues, with staff, not, some of the people I least expected who in the end weren't maybe that honest or trustworthy with me. So never trusting people entirely. Your job as a business owner is to make sure that your staff are well supervised, and that if a customer has, any issue with dishonesty or theft, that you believe that customer. But of course, demonstrating as many honest and trustworthy characteristics as possible. You want people who are willing to learn and grow. The biggest challenge with hiring people who do this job is everyone thinks that they already know how to do it. Everyone thinks, well, I'm a great cleaner. I've been cleaning my own house my entire life. Or very often these people are constantly getting compliments, and they define their personality around the fact that they are, very, very clean. And how many of you have heard the term, oh, I'm so OCD, in every job interview you've ever conducted? So I kind of laugh at that because everybody says that, and I have yet to see somebody who's truly OCD when it comes to cleaning. So I also tell them not to use that term because it's not something to take lightly when people actually are OCD. So it's sort of something that they should stop saying. But those people do need to understand that there's a huge difference between cleaning professionally and making their own bed and doing their own dishes. There is a huge difference between those two things. So sort of that humbling experience you need to give them. You need to explain to them that, just because they're a great cleaner and their friends always compliment them and they take pride in, their own house and their own car and all of that, that they actually don't know how to clean professionally. And even if they come to you with experience, they don't know how to clean professionally the way you want them to, with the results that you and your clients expect. So, sort of putting them kind of in their place initially is very important, and making sure that they're receptive to feedback. Cheerful, positive attitude, that goes without saying. You need people, there's nothing more draining than staff, of course, who have bad attitudes and are calling you and complaining about things. So you really want to look for people that, sort of when you picture them in your mind's eye, they do have that smile on their face. So looking for that. Even when it comes to texts and emails, I look for that in the initial stages of screening. I want to see how friendly that they come across in their written communication as well. Organized and detailed, that goes without saying, but this is really not so much about being organized. I'm a very organized person when it comes to computer stuff. So I'm great at organizing things, and my slides usually are pretty good. My website's really good. I can be very detail oriented with all of that. But when it comes to working with my hands and doing things in real life, I'm not very organized at all. So I need people, and I hire people who actually fold all their cleaning cloths and are always arranging everything nicely, and can help me with that sort of thing, because I'm certainly not naturally very good at it. So looking for those people. And you also want people who are quite polished and poised. They're out there as ambassadors of your company. You want people who are dressing well groomed. They look a certain way. And this just goes, with grooming. First impressions for clients matter. So if they're pulling up, in a dirty car, they're cleaning equipment isn't cleaned and looking brand new every day, that reflects poorly on your business. So you want people who are polished and poised. Skills that they can develop is that extraordinary eye for detail. This takes time, it takes practice. You really have to be patient with staff in developing this. They can be, you know, after a month of training, you can think, okay, I can send them into a house and they should be able to do this. It's an easy job, they can do it. And guess what? They miss all kinds of things. And that just takes time and practice. And again, you might have people who are coming to you from other cleaning companies who think that they know everything, but if you give them a really detailed training checklist and really force them to use it, they're going to realize how little they truly know and how much they miss on a, you know, on a constant basis. So that development of that truly extraordinary eye for detail is something that takes time, and once they develop it, it never goes away. I'm sure you're familiar with this. It doesn't matter where I go. I can be in a waiting room at a doctor's office, at a restaurant. I notice everything, the dust on the baseboards, you know, the ceiling fans, everything, and I'm sure you do too. So once they develop it, that will be a skill that they have for life, unfortunately, sometimes. That relentless pursuit of perfection, I demand that from myself and my business. So that needs to trickle down to my staff too. I want them to you know, to be absolutely perfect. That's what they're aiming for, and that's what they're delivering every day. With goal setting, you can work on that with your staff. I think it's really important to have quick wins. That's why, you know, if they do their training, that they should have some sort of certificate of completion within 2 weeks of starting. So you want to give them something tangible to say, you have passed, you have trained, you've done a few houses, you're on your way. You know, you're not a fully certified cleaning consultant yet, you know, but here you are. So we've got step 1 covered. And you also want to give them some hope and some vision for career advancement, so they can understand, you know, that they're starting here, but maybe within a few months they can be a team leader. You know, after that they can move up as your company grows, that you will help them grow with you. Patience in following systematic processes. This is a big one because cleaning takes so much patience, and just when you've done all the work and you're so excited and oh, you've been there for hours and wow, you've got this finished product. Well, guess what? Now you have to bring out that detailed checklist and you have to spend another 20 minutes going over that. Do you really have to check everything? Do you really have to look at the kick plates in the kitchen? Yes, you do. So that patience is something really important to develop in your staff, and to make, you know, give them a win with that as well. You know, are they getting paid? Are they getting a bonus if you have them on a flat rate? Is there something that's incentivizing them for actually being patient? Problem solving and staying calm. There's issues every day. This business is so difficult to manage because you have, you know, 100 appointments a week. You've got all these staff, people are out there, you've got weather conditions, lockouts, pets, you know, all these things going on. So you really need people who can learn how to stay calm, know that they have your support, and are given the tools to make decisions and solve problems as they arise. You want to create boundaries with your staff so that, you know, they understand, okay, if I break something, this is what I do. This is how I approach it. Or I know that if something happens, you know, I can give somebody up to, you know, sort of $50 in value of cleaning immediately. So if a client comes home, they're not happy about something, or they've complained about something to that employee in person, that they have the authority to say, you know what, I completely understand last appointment, you know, I didn't realize that it happened. The office didn't know, managers didn't know, but they know that they can give $50, let's say, in freebies to a client to appease them. So maybe they can do the inside of the oven or fridge or offer something like that. So giving them those tools to be able to make their own decisions and problem solve, you can develop over time. Developing and managing excellent client relations. Now, this is a really tough one and very crucial because, again, these people are the face of your business. They're representing you every day. That's why I say, you know, these are the ambassadors for your business. And clients often won't tell you exactly what staff do and what staff say. And one of the reasons that I have my cleaner evaluation program and my trial, you know, sort of testing houses and things like that is because you want people who you actually give them as a client, a certain type of client, you want to give them the freedom to tell you the truth about what your staff are doing. And you'll be surprised at some of the things that you find out from them. And normal clients aren't going to complain very much because things aren't a big deal. They might just find your employee a little bit annoying sometimes, or they talk too much or whatever, but they're not going to bring it up because it's not really that big of a deal. But those things really sort of wear away at clients, and you need to sort of nip that right away with your staff. So, they, again, will learn that over time, but it's really your job as the manager to help mold them into developing those client relations. Confidence as a cleaning consultant, again, this comes over time, but this comes with training and this comes with education. So if they're confident that, when they walk into a house, if they've got, a 2-hour appointment allotted and they know, looking at those baseboards, this is going to be a 3-hour job, not a 2-hour job. That confidence is going to come from experience and education, and they're going to be able to, effectively discuss that with the client or call you and say, hey, guess what? We're going to need a little bit more time here. We're going to need a lot more time. But will come with time and education. And then speaking and writing skills, this can be really challenging. You might have staff that don't speak English very well, or you might have staff that have learning disabilities, dyslexia, are just poor spellers. And so there are certain templates and things that you can give your staff so that they can learn, sort of the crucial things that they need to be able to spell or to write out to customers. You can make this process very easy for them. And again, that reflects a lot better on your business when you've got staff who have good grammar, punctuation, and spelling. So attracting staff. First of all, just remember you are who you hire, so lead by example. If you want professional staff, if you want polished and poised and well-groomed staff, showing up and looking good, you need to lead by example, because you will attract exactly what you're portraying to everyone else. Job ads and application process. Review those, make sure that everything is seamless, everything's efficient. You don't want any barriers in place. Just like when you're attracting clients, we put so much effort and so much energy and so many dollars into attracting our clients. Often attracting staff kind of gets pushed aside. Imagine if you put even 10% of that effort into attracting staff, you would get much better quality candidates. So review your website, your social media, your reputation through the eyes of a potential employee and make those revisions as necessary. So again, apply the same effort and strategies to recruiting staff as you do clients. And the nice thing about recruiting staff is you don't necessarily have to focus on this all the time. You go through times like months, even years, where you don't really have to hire. But when you do have to sort of do a hiring spurt, and I do recommend having an ongoing recruitment process that just sort of runs in the background, but you do want to apply much of the same effort and strategies, because it's the same. Getting clients, getting staff, it's all the same idea. Think of the wages, the benefits, the perks, and the company culture that you can offer applicants. So you want to attract staff by naturally having competitive wages. They don't necessarily have to be the very top in your, in your market. Of course, you're going to attract typically the best people if you have the highest paying job, but that's not always possible for everyone. So you can balance your wages. If maybe you're not able to offer the highest wages, you can balance that with offering benefits such as health insurance, or just fun things that you can do with your staff that don't cost as much money. So assessing candidates, the qualities you need in your staff, you need to determine what those are. And then you need to also determine the qualities that you don't need in staff. Being a really good cleaning consultant, and developing relations with clients and other staff, those are the qualities that you need in people. So if there's a lot of things that on paper might not look as good, but you're not hiring these people to run an office or to do your marketing. So you're looking for something very different and very non-traditional. Your screening process and assessing clients or candidates needs to be very, very efficient. You are busy, and even if you're not insanely busy right now, you always want to to make everything that you do in your business scalable. So, right now you might only have 2 employees, but a year from now you might have 20. You're going to be too busy to, worry about making a really terrific online application form on your website when you've got 20 employees and you're managing all these appointments. But right now, when you only have 2 employees, you can sit down and spend some time on figuring that out. So, definitely look at that. Make sure that your screening process online, on the phone, by text, in person, that you sort of determine what that is. And don't be too slow to cut people right away. If I don't sort of get a good vibe off somebody's email or text right away, I won't push them further in the application process. Test appointments. This is something that I started a long time ago, because just like you, I would book interviews with 10 people and one would show up. Or I'd do group interviews. That's a really great solution to the interview problem. So I do group interviews as well. But I also find that because this is such a hands-on job, the best thing to do for me is to have test appointments. So I have a separate client list, and I'll go over this a little bit later, but where you can invite, an applicant that you've screened. So you think, okay, this person's pretty great. This sounds like a real possibility. You can bring that person to a test appointment, and you can sort of work with them as you go through the house, and you can talk to them and get to know them and ask them questions as you give them small cleaning tasks to do, so they can sort of see what the job really entails, because there's nothing worse than spending all this money and time training somebody, and then all of a sudden they start cleaning for a living and they're like, I don't want to do this. This isn't good. I don't like this at all. And now you've spent all this money and you have to cut them a big check for all that training. So getting them involved in the hands-on sort of, reality of what cleaning is, in a gentle way, I think is the best approach. Again, making the cut, do that sort of mercilessly. If somebody just doesn't give you a good vibe, don't move them further along in the application process. I think that's really important. And then as well, when you do hire people, the entire process of onboarding, orientation, training, and then sort of having them work for you, you're constantly going to be assessing and reassessing. I almost let somebody go this past weekend, and then by Sunday night I was like, you know what, no, we can solve this, we're going to fix this. Everything was great by Monday. So you're always assessing and reassessing your staff. So first impressions, website, make sure you've got quality imagery and copywriting. If you are not a professional marketer, hire someone who is. You don't have the same eye for detail in marketing and branding that a professional does, just like they won't with cleaning. So you might think that your website looks really good, but I would definitely leave that in the hands of a professional, because you want, a certain look, you want to display a certain professionalism is the biggest thing. So this professional brand, and things are so complicated now because you have to have that professional brand consistent, not only on your website, not only on your marketing materials that you leave with clients, not only on your, your cleaning bags and supplies, but you have to bring that branding over into LinkedIn and Twitter and Instagram stories and everything. So, it's really important that you have your fonts and your colors and your messaging, your key messaging, all sorted out and displayed on your website. You're driving traffic to your website all the time through your social media and other channels. Your website is always going to be your #1 marketing tool. So make sure it is very professional. Get that career section. Usually you want that in your footer, a link, so it's not distracting, what your website is really there to do, which is to convert visitors to booking appointments into customers. So keep that career section in your links in your footer, and then you want a nice online application process for them, so that you're sort of accepting ongoing applications. I recommend that you have a dedicated email address, like careers@companyname.com, so that everything's sort of funneled there and doesn't get mixed up with again, your real email account, which is of course to convert customers into clients, ongoing clients. Have an About Us section that is really personal and friendly. You want to highlight, if not your staff, which I have yet to do right now, but I definitely make sure my own personal face and story are on everything so people know who they're dealing with. It gives a lot of credibility and personality to your business, and of course to applicants who are saying, geez, who am I applying with here and who am I going to be working for? And again, making sure you have a smooth and seamless process. So social media, your voice and personality are really reflected through your social media. And take a little look, after you're done today, take a look this week and try and look at your social media, not only through your regular filters of, okay, what are my staff seeing when they see my social media? What are my clients seeing? But what are my job applicants seeing? You know, what kind of picture are you painting of what it's like to work at your company? Interaction and responsiveness is important. So checking those messages, you know, they can get lost on Instagram. Interaction is just, you know, thanking people, responding, double tapping, liking, all of that stuff. You do want to engage as much as possible. Using social media as well to highlight staff and to advertise job postings, that's what it's there for. And highlighting the staff and the work that they do. I'm pretty careful with, you know, I don't tag my staff. I'm very careful about, you know, keeping their information confidential. So making sure that you're doing that with that in mind. But there's lots you can do that on social media to highlight the work that they do, and you can just let them know with a text or an email that, you know, you've posted some of their photos or some of their, you know, recognition, that sort of thing. And with their permission, of course, you can actually name them if they like, and that goes a long way to motivating your staff. It also shows your clients and potential customers how, you know, how great of a business you are, and people really enjoy supporting businesses that they think are treating their employees well. So that will go a long way for you. Collaborating with influencers and brands to reach job seekers. So there's lots of sort of like-minded people out there who have strong social media presences, and that's sort of their job. So connecting with those people and those accounts can really help you, you know, sort of get your message out there when you are trying to find people to work for you. So with your job ads, you know, make sure you're infusing that voice and personality into your job ad without trying too hard. You know, there's some that are a little bit cringy, right? So you don't want to look like you're trying so hard to be cool. I'm sure you can picture some of those job ads, especially because often we're hiring sort of younger people. So we're already, you know, a little old and dorky to them. So not trying too hard, but as well balancing your own personality and, you know, that of your company culture into your job ads. So making it not so stuffy, unless of course you are. I mean, you definitely can be too. So it just depends on your own personality and what you're trying to portray. Post your ad in the right places so you're reaching the right people. Again, if you've got, you know, you're hiring a bunch of younger people who are in their 20s, finding out what social media platforms they're using is what you want to be as well using. So where are they going to look for jobs? You need to know who your ideal candidates are, who are the best people who work for you, and how can you reach those people, and making sure that you advertise in the right place. What I like to do as well, and this is, you know, a very good strategy, is adding details and instructions so that you can start screening people out immediately. So one of the things that you'll want to put in a job ad is, you know, instructions on how to apply. So it can be as simple as email your resume and put in your email subject line, job posting number 8472. This can be completely made up. It doesn't matter. The point is you're already seeing, can this person follow instructions? And 90% of them cannot. So you've already screened yourself out. We'll move on with the 10% of people who can follow instructions, because that's really important in this business. And then test out your application process yourself, your friends, your parents. You know, say, okay, if you're applying for a job, go to my website, go through the process. It should only take a few minutes, and let me know if everything worked well, and make sure on your end that you received that job application. Reputation, online reviews. Find out what your reputation is and monitor it all the time. Sometimes people can go months without Googling their own business online. You need to know what people are saying out there. You need to monitor it. Fix any poor reviews immediately. Check your staff social media profiles regularly as well. Sometimes you might toggle, you know, a post on Facebook to public because you want people to share it, and then you forget to turn that off in your next post. So you want to make sure that what your staff is displaying, because, you know, clients will look up your staff social media profiles naturally. You know, that's just the world we live in, and that's totally fine. And a lot of times people want to connect and be friends on social media as well. So taking a good look at what your staff are sort of displaying to the world, again, because they are representing your company, you want to keep tabs on that. Highlight awards, staff testimonials. So when your staff say great things about your company, even if it's in person, write that down and say, hey, you said this to me yesterday about, you know, how great it was working with all these cute dogs. You know, can I quote you on that and throw that on a website, throw that in my application, throw that in my onboarding. You know, helping other people see truly from your own staff how much they enjoy working for you, how great the job is, using their own words. And then of course, highlighting any awards that you give out to your staff, always showing what a fun place it is to work. Personal experiences. So remember too, a lot of applicants are coming to you and they've already experienced your company. They've already Googled you. Maybe their friends and family have even hired you and they thought, that's something I've always been interested in, is cleaning. So a lot of times they might have some prior experience and some prior sort of knowledge of who you already are, as well referrals and friends who have worked for you or have in the past. I had somebody, you know, come to a test appointment. She actually did a few, and then I found out that she had worked for some former staff of mine from my previous company who had gone on to start their own cleaning business. So, you know, lots of history there that she would be aware of that I wouldn't know had I not sort of, you know, dug around and found that out from her. Just keeping that in mind when you're onboarding staff and accepting applicants. Prior job application communication, again, what has their experience already been with you? They might have applied a few months ago, now they're applying again. Or maybe you weren't exactly hiring at the time, so you kind of paused things, but now you're reaching out to them again. So all those personal experiences will sort of color, you know, their sort of reputation and their experience and idea of who you are. And then previous cleaning experience or knowing someone who has. So people have knowledge of the industry sometimes as well when they come on. So there's some bias there. Hiring process. So again, with your application process, I recommend having a dedicated email address to filter applications. You can even just do a free Gmail or Hotmail if you just want to do, you know, careers at Glisson Academy at hotmail.com, something like that. But it really, really helps separate, you know, your applicants from your clients, and then you can put your sort of, you know, job hat on when you're dealing with that account and those people. Online application form, I think, is crucial. I think you need to have some slightly challenging requirements, so maybe you need them to answer a few questions, demonstrating how they are of service to people or how they have cared for someone, or can they explain how they would clean a kitchen, for example. You know, just something that, again, sort of makes things a little bit more challenging, so you're not just getting anybody out there who's like, I just need a job and cleaning's easy, so I'm just going to apply to this company and I don't even have to update my resume, like I just send it, you know. So making that application process just a little bit more challenging, so again, you're sort of filtering out people who aren't really that interested in working for you. A simple email procedure for less tech savvy candidates. You're going to have people who aren't as into the online thing, so it's simple as just emailing your resume to you can also help you find candidates who, again, might not be quite as slick at doing things online, might not even have a computer, but they have a phone, so making it as easy as possible for them. And then promoting your job postings on all channels, including social media, your website, everywhere you can. So with screening applicants, did they follow the instructions from the job posting? If they didn't, cut them. How did they come across in text, emails, and phone calls? Are you getting that good vibe? Are they friendly? Because the way that they're, you know, portraying themselves to you right now is how they're going to come across to clients when they're texting or calling clients as well. Conducting in-person interviews, this is something I do very rarely. You know, just sitting down and doing that one-on-one interview, that's something I do much further along in the process, and it's not really a formal interview. So again, I sort of recommend jumping right in with some trial appointments and training sessions. Job interviews and trial appointments. So job interviews, I find, can be, and I know you've all told me this too, those of you I've talked to, very inefficient use of your time. Group interviews can help. So what I like to do, and my stats on this are basically I invite 20 people to a group interview. Sounds like a lot, but I guarantee half will not show up, even if they say they will. Now you've got 10 people, maybe if you're lucky. You can sit in a group and you can ask a question, go around in a circle, everyone can answer. This, again, is a very efficient use of your time. It might only be a half-hour group interview, and it also allows you to see how people think on their feet in a group setting as well and work sort of within that team environment. One-on-one is very different from basically what they're going to be doing when they're at jobs or working with a partner, working as part of your team. So it's great to sort of see people right then and there, working, answering questions and communicating with other people in a group setting. Trial appointments, like I said earlier, will help you meet and get to know the applicant. So I'm, just sort of a big believer in having them jump right in, talking to them as they clean, giving them something like a small bathroom to focus on, and saying, okay, what did you think of that? Do you think you could do this every day for 8 hours? Awesome. Job offers. So create a process you can replicate. I'm always about efficiency. Templates are crucial. You want a job offer letter that you can copy and paste and email to them or attach. I have a Dropbox folder for each one of my staff. That's where they can fill out their tax forms and then drop them when they're complete. You want a formal letter with instructions and next steps. So that's where I would put the link to, either a Google folder, or Dropbox folder, whatever you want, where they can now go and fill out, maybe a non-competition form. They can fill out their tax forms, etc., and they can upload those. Use it as another opportunity to create excitement, showcase your business, highlight your professionalism, and set the stage for success with your new hires. Onboarding and orientation, online process, employee folder, step-by-step process. You want this as self-serve as possible. You're busy, you've got customers and appointments to focus on. So setting this up so that your staff can, do this themselves without needing a lot of help from you. Create a quick and efficient process. More details will come as they do their onboarding and training. So phase 1 is really just ready, set, go. What do they need to know to start cleaning tomorrow? Of course, supervised with a lot of instruction and help. Be careful not to spend too much time and money during the onboarding and orientation process, because like I said, it's difficult cutting a big check when that person might quit very quickly. So let's go over some training methods. There's theory and practical. I find a lot of times people are so focused on just training people how to clean, they miss the entire theory portion of what people need to know to be successful in this job. So they need a deep understanding of both the theory of their jobs, so the art and science of cleaning, customer relations, how to prepare for appointments, how to prepare for their workday, what to do when problems occur, how to work as a team, how to work alone. All of these things need to be covered. It's not just about cleaning. And that's where the problems occur. So becoming skilled at the practical part of conducting cleaning appointments is really, really important. It's critical that they're learning those soft skills to make them successful in the position of cleaning consultant. This is a very well-rounded position. You want this to be a career. They need to be professional certified cleaning consultants. That's how you get them to stay. That's how you get them to take pride in their job. So deliver training in very small segments, piece by piece, over many, many weeks, with quick wins and lots of hands-on practice. Prepare them for their hands-on training with some online education. This is the idea behind GLSEN Academy. You can get the course and you can give it to staff. So before they start, they might have a few hours of sort of practice training in a home under supervision, then they go home and do a couple hours of the online training. So it's your job to set up these hires for success, giving them all the essential information they need before they start training to clean. And this can be done very quickly. This can be done in a matter of 2 hours. So you want to blend the online training with hands-on training to be the most effective, both as a business, because like I said, you don't want to do a whole bunch of impractical training that costs you a lot of money, and they need to start experiencing cleaning themselves. It reinforces what they're learning through the theory. If they can remember, oh yeah, I went to that client's house, I can picture exactly what conducting an appointment is like when I'm sitting at my computer or my phone actually learning about how to conduct appointments. Training homes. So recruiting a separate client list for training homes. You can offer a discount. I offer up to 50% off to be a test home for my clients. That they know that they're getting someone who has been fully trained, but they're still not a certified cleaning consultant. So they're still practicing. They might still miss things. I create a report that client will go through their house, and they will assess the cleaning, and they will complete that report and submit it to you. This is really, really just a fabulous way of getting a lot of engagement with your clients. And again, this is a separate group of people, so you're not cheapening your service. You're saying, hey, in exchange for letting us practice a bit, giving us feedback, helping us do an assessment, I'm going to give you a great deal on a cleaning. And it gives you all these people out there who will give you, you know, through their own eyes and their experience, feedback. And that's what you want, because you need a big variety of people, because that's what you're dealing with on a daily basis with fully paying clients. Ensure constant supervision of staff. You're definitely not letting them loose in a house without supervision. Your manager, your team lead, your cleaning supervisor, whatever they are, is going to work with this person basically joined at the hip. So they're going to be in the same area together at all times. Use training checklists. Mine are many, many pages long for training. That's not something you leave with the client. It's a very detailed training checklist that they need to go through. It asks them things like, they have to say, okay, yes, I cleaned the pendant lights above the kitchen island. How many pendant lights were there? What color were they? I really want them to actually pay attention, not just to blindly check something off and say, yeah, I did that. No. I want to know exactly. So you have to prove to me that you did it. This is how you start developing that eye for detail. Reference cards are, again, a quick way that they can glance at something like a bathroom. A reference card can show them, okay, these are the products I need, these are the tools I need, and here's a quick overview of what I have to do. Then they can refer to their very detailed cleaning checklist when they do the evaluation of that room. Verbal instructions, that's my audio, so listening, you know, on their phones, listening as they're cleaning, step-by-step verbal instructions, or from somebody who's actually right there telling them that, and other training aids that you can come up with. Assign tasks into really, really simple bite-sized chunks. Don't overwhelm them. Giving them something as simple to us as, oh, okay, well, here's the kitchen. You already know the process of cleaning, the 4D system, whatever it is. Go and do that in the kitchen. I'll come back in an hour. That can be too much for them. So you really need to focus their attention and develop things really in bite-sized pieces. So maybe one day they're really learning what the outside of a kitchen cabinet looks like when it's clean, and the next day they're focused on kick plates and floors and baseboards. So really focusing and taking away all other distractions. So ensure you have a system that's easy to understand and follow. I developed my 4D process over many, many years of trial and error, and it needs to be simple and it needs to be systematic. Evaluation appointments. So this is what I used to call my mystery shopper program. I now call it my cleaner evaluation program. It is the best thing I have ever come up with, honestly, when it comes to really having a quick and effective way of taking all of your staff and leveling them up basically overnight. So what you do is recruit a separate list of clients, and you want to train them in assessing and reporting. So this is a little bit different than a test and, you know, a training house. That's a little bit different because that's not as intense. An evaluation appointment means that your staff are going there, they're doing an appointment exactly how they would for any client, and the client is basically a secret shopper who is, you know, sort of looking at everything they're doing, their uniform, their hair, the condition of their supplies, where did they park? Did they park where they were supposed to? Did they leave a checklist? You know, where did they put their shoes when they came in? Every single detail they're going to be sort of secretly, quietly looking at, and then they're going to go through the appointment afterwards, and they're going to assess a whole bunch of things too, and they're going to be graded on the cleaning. And, you know, at first, you want your staff to know that they're going to evaluation appointments. So this is common. You let them know in their training process in phase 1 that these people are going to be evaluated, and it's not a secret. You're setting them up for an evaluation appointment on Friday. They're going there. They're doing it all by themselves. That customer is going to review, rate, report, all of that, and then they're going to find out exactly how that cleaning went. So this is a wonderful opportunity for them. They get incredible feedback. It's detailed. It's through a client's perspective, so it's the real deal, but it's done in a really safe space. Then with your ongoing, your graduated certified cleaning consultants, those people are going to have secret shoppers. So, you know, they might have, let's say, 10 appointments one week. One of those appointments might be a mystery shopper, a secret shopper, somebody who's actually secretly evaluating them. Now, if you tell your staff that you're implementing this program, they actually will be very, very excited about. This isn't about being sneaky and all that, because you're telling them you're going to get at least one appointment a month that's going to be, a an evaluation program appointment. And this is your opportunity to wow everybody and get, like I used to give out bonuses. So I would give out a bonus if they got like an A+ rating, 5-star rating, whatever it is, or a certain grade on the report. So this is a really great motivating tool. And what it does is, of course, because they're never sure who might be one of the evaluation clients, it really does level up their cleaning, because now they're really excited to do an even better job at every client, everyone. So this works. It works overnight. I do have an evaluation program that you can buy and implement in your business immediately. So it's taken all the work out of it, and it is really, really effective, and it's really motivating for your staff. They just love it. So you will share your reports with the staff. I do it at staff meetings. I give them their grade. Everybody sort of knows how everyone else is doing. And then I refine their personal training plan based on the results. So you'll uncover, either the technical skills, like, okay, this person really isn't great at dusting. Let's go back to that. Let's figure out what we need. Do they need a different dusting tool? Do they need to revisit some of their training on dusting? Where's the discrepancy? What's the issue? Or is it something like they talk too much to a client, and that client didn't want to talk so much? So now we can talk more about those soft skills and relationship building. Management strategies, handling issues, performance management, etc. So let's cover this. Handling issues. So issues are going to happen all the time. So the goal for you as a business owner, as a manager, is not perfectionism. You're never going to eliminate every issue with your staff. It's just not possible. But you want to improve all the time, and you'll become more and more of an expert at handling issues with your staff. As some of you know who've been doing this for many, many years, even longer than me, of course, it's an incredible experience where you are right now and how much skill you have in handling people compared to how you were on day one of hiring someone and managing some of these issues that pop up with them. So remember that you're dealing with emotions when it comes to staff. Human resources is human for a reason. People are not logical when it comes to so much with their work. This is a lot of emotions, and a lot of things happen in their personal lives that will affect their work. So just remember that. Try and remove emotion from the equation as much as possible when you're dealing with your staff. Present them with facts in a very polite, professional way, friendly, of course. But again, just removing that emotion will really help you handle your staff. Be empathetic with them, but know your boundaries and limits. And I have people still testing me all the time. So again, like, I'm very empathetic with staff and their personal lives and their struggles and their children and their medical problems and all of that. You can be, very empathetic with that. But you also have to set boundaries and limits as an employer, and make sure that you stick to those so that you continue to have the respect of your staff. And just remember that not everything is worth the fight. So sometimes let them have their little, their little wins, or let them sort things out themselves. Performance management and review. So staff, I've had hundreds of employees over the years. I can tell you the one thing everyone wants is feedback. They want it, they crave it, they need it. And the wonderful thing about being in business and having this job is that every single appointment is the opportunity for a new 5-star review. So you're doing 2 appointments a day, that's 10 5-star reviews a week. Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of repeat clients, but you can continually motivate your clients to leave those reviews if you let them know that job, performance and promotions and wages and all that depends on it, and you can incentivize as well. I do contests, every month I draw names and do, gift cards and all that fun stuff for people who leave reviews on Facebook or Google or through my appointment booking system, whatever it may be. Getting that feedback is so much fun for staff. So drawing out those client reviews and evaluations, and again, having that formal program in place will take care of all that for you. Create company awards and recognition. What's stopping you? You can have as many awards as you want. It can be as simple as a piece of paper, a badge, anything, something that, they can put onto their business card. Just invent this stuff, create this stuff, and give it out, generously to your staff. Highlight their work on social media and through email marketing. Go and see their work firsthand. It doesn't matter how many layers of staff and management and supervisors and team leads you have. Show up at appointments, look at the work your staff are doing, and admire the work that they do. Have a plan for each employee and share it with them. You know, give them that feedback. Have a big vision for them fitting in with your company for years, even decades. That will help them stay engaged and continue to perform very well. So with communication, you're never going to communicate as much as your staff might want. That's okay. Just know that that's going to happen. They're always going to want more from you than you can give them. Everyone has different styles of communication, so try various methods. I have one employee who is dyslexic. It's very hard for her to text and email. She always wants phone calls. Fine. We will set up a phone call a couple days a week and have a scheduled chat on the phone so she can get what she needs from me. Face-to-face, of course, is always best, but it's not always possible. Do your best to make the effort. Set boundaries as well with your staff. So social and texting make this a real challenge. You know, I've got staff texting me from 6 in the morning to midnight at night, 7 days a week. And it, you know, it's sometimes we are guilty of that as well. You know, we'll get a, you know, a review from a client or have a question about something and we're texting them after hours too. And that's, you know, perfectly fine as well if you can put some boundaries in place and have sort of a policy with how you communicate and when. So respect your staff's time as well. Developing and motivating staff. So like I said, have a plan for an employee and revise it. Written is best, you know, meeting with them every few months to sort of go over that plan, where you see them, how they fit into your company, and what, you know, the future might hold for them as your company continues to grow and they continue to grow, is a great way to keep them motivated. Learn what motivates them and support them in that. It might be as simple as new products. I was just in San Diego for 3 weeks. Mrs. Mayers had a whole bunch of fall scents, snowflake and acorn and all this stuff, Iowa pine. So I just loaded up on tons and tons of products, and I brought them back here to dole out to my staff. You know, something as simple as a new aroma with a cleaning product, a new tool to test out can keep them very motivated. Bring in new products, tools, equipments. You always want to be learning as the business owner, learning new techniques, learning new equipment that's on the market, new products, new ways of doing things, better ways of doing things, and, you know, teach that to your staff. You know, that's really your job. So pick a highlight or a focus every week or every month. You know, it can be broad, but that's what they're focusing on. So maybe, you know, sanitizing is your focus for December. So, you know, we're going to, where can we sanitize? Taps and doorknobs and light switches. How do we sanitize? Products, dry steam, what is it going to be? You know, giving them sort of something every month, and then that can also help you shape your social media posts and the content, your blogs, things that you're, you know, marketing out to customers too. So pick a theme every month and, you know, really bring that in with your employees and with your marketing. And then, like I said, cleaner evaluation program, implement something like that immediately. Start recruiting people and start having a systemized process of giving very detailed evaluations to your staff. So essential takeaways from everything I've sort of talked about, and again, this is really top level stuff. We don't go super deep in an hour, but my key takeaways for you as a business owner in this industry is that your brand is truly your first impression, so ensure it's professional. And like I said, if you don't have the eye of a graphic designer, hire one and get that person to give you a makeover, because a lot of people do, they do expect a professionalism. You can stand out very, very well in this industry because, as you know, there's so many people out there who aren't very professional. So if you can have an incredibly professional website and social media accounts, you already look so much better than everyone else. And, you know, with cleaning, appearance really is everything. You know, this is this is all about appearances. So your customers want a clean house. It has to look clean. Yes, it also has to be clean, but essentially they want it to look clean. It has to look good, has to be Instagram pretty. So, you know, make sure that your brand is showcasing that. Save your investment of time and money in new hires. Spread it out, trickle it out. Don't have them sit down and go through all their training at a computer or, you know, in person with you at the onset. You want to give them a little bit of what they need to know and then let them go and start practicing in client homes. And before you're investing too much time and energy. Ensure you have a systematic process for training your staff. This can be really tricky. I have my own system, of course, that I sell on GLSEN Academy, but there's a few others out there. Whatever you choose, just ensure that you are using it and you're teaching it. Use a variety of training methods and aids with lots of feedback for your staff. Sorry, I skipped one there. So always be present. Supervision is key. Again, this can be where you just drop in here and there with your staff and check on an appointment. You could bring them a coffee, bring them a product or a tool at an appointment, say hi to a client. But again, they need to know that you're involved or that your designated manager is involved. If you have somebody who does that job for you, perfectly fine. But that actual one-on-one supervision and dropping by and being present is very important. And then the last thing that is extremely important with your cleaning consultants is accountability. So what happens often with, training with partners or even when they're alone, there's a lot of diffusion of responsibility. And when that happens, nobody signs off on anything and nobody's responsible. They can blame you, they can blame the product, they can blame the equipment, they can blame the client. All of that has to be on their shoulders and they have to understand that. So when they go to an appointment, they have a checklist. They have a, maybe a for office only checklist, and that's more like your detailed checklist where you want to see exactly what they did at that appointment. So sort of a report. They need to sign off on that. That is their name. That is their stamp of approval. Yes, this job has been done to standard and I'm signing off with my name. And if anything is, has gone wrong with this appointment, the client's not happy, that's on me. So really ensuring that you're putting all of that accountability on your cleaning consultant's shoulders. They will take pride in that. They will deliver if you ensure that, that they are ultimately responsible for doing the job. So thank you very much for your time. I know we're going to go to questions. You can also email me, just katie@glsenacademy.com. I have a Facebook group as well. I'm sure a lot of you are part of that, so you can join that and ask me questions there. And then GLSEN Academy, I have some free resources I will be adding here. I'm sort of in the process of moving everything over to glsenacademy.com under, again, one sort of one-stop shop for everyone with their training and educational needs. Like I said, I do have a Facebook group. You can just Google the Made Mentor in Facebook. I guess search would be the proper term. You can please follow me on Instagram at GLSEN Academy, and you can also check out my my actual functioning cleaning company is KarmaClean. So I'd love to have you on there as well. You can sort of see what I do in real life in practice. And yeah, that's it for today. Erin, over to you.
Thank you so much, Katie. That was great. A lot of good information. I'm so glad everybody was able to join us today, and I can't thank Katie enough for this. And we can open it now to questions. Kevin, do we have any questions? If anybody has any questions, you can use the GoToWebinar. There's a place that you can put in your questions.
Yeah, we have a few about the test/trial appointments.
Okay.
Just so you're prepared for that. They're kind of asking, how does this really work if they're not really hired yet, or if there's something that goes wrong with being injured or background checks? Just a little bit more background about the trial appointments.
Again, so a trial appointment like this would be a very, very small, like they might come just for half an hour and you might just have them meet you at a trial appointment house and do something as simple as, maybe just scrub down a bathtub. I have never had any issues, like I'm obviously covered, but I've never had any issues with any injuries. You don't want to be putting them in any dangerous situation. Something like this can also be done like in your own personal house. And again, you don't have to do it, of course, if you don't feel comfortable with that, that's perfectly fine. But I have found that has sort of been, a very light way of introducing them to sort of what the job is like. Now, as well, before that, anything that you want them to sign off on, you can. So when I do a trial appointment, I have them sign a non-competition, or I guess it wouldn't be a non-competition, it would be a like a non-disclosure of personal information. So I have them sign sort of a confidentiality thing when they come. So I had somebody come a few weeks ago, and so I met her at the house, and I said, okay, so here's your confidentiality agreement. So we're just going to be, you know, working in the kitchen for about half an hour and chit-chatting and getting to know each other. So here's a confidentiality agreement. Here's what you're going to do, and then I will pay them a training wage, you know, based on sort of how they did. You know, maybe I think with my training right now, it's about 17, 18 an hour. So, you know, I might pay them, you know, whatever that has to be by your own state's, you know, labor laws. So again, you know, always refer back to those laws and make sure that you're following whatever it is. Now, I'm in Canada, so things are a little bit different, of course, than they are in the US, but definitely as a business owner, it's important that you make sure that you know what those laws are and that you're abiding by them in terms of workers' compensation as well, and insurance and all of that. So making sure that that's something that you can even offer. I am able to do it where I am, and you know, if you need to push the, you know, the training and trial appointments to a little bit later in the process, you definitely can. So you could have a more formal arrangement with them at that time, but have them know that that's sort of an evaluation period as well. So, I mean, everyone's sort of on probation in the beginning, I think, in most countries when it comes to hiring. So I know in Canada, we have a 3-month probation. So within 90 days, you can sort of let anyone go without cause or without having to pay them. So just making sure you know what those rules and laws are and abiding by them. And then, like I said, if you have to push that down a little bit in the process, that's totally fine. But, you know, you can do some of those initial things a little bit more quickly, and then say, okay, great, I'm going to have that person start. Now they're going to go into the house. You know, I've got their record checks. I have everything I need. They can be under supervision. They're covered by everything. And, you know, maybe within a few days they can start doing that. But the important thing is to ensure that you're not investing too much really intense time and training in someone if, you know, if they're not going to work out for you.
Thank you so much. That was really in depth, and I know there's a lot of legal laws. It differs on your location. So I would suggest to anyone else that has questions as a follow-up to reach out to Katie on her social handles or email. For that, I'd want to jump forward to a different topic that someone asked about group interviews. How do those necessarily work? I tend to ask more personalized questions for applications. Can you kind of go through real quickly of your group interviews?
Yeah, so you know, you can definitely get more personal with you know, with your job applicants on the application form, so you can ask them those personal details either before and after group interviews. You can follow up with something that you can do as well. Really, I mean, it's an efficiency thing. So I find, like I said, you know, I invite 20 people to a group interview. Let's say, you know, 15 might RSVP to say yes, that they're coming, and then I might get 10. I might even only get 5. I've even had, I know one time I had, 10 or 11 that had confirmed they were coming. I went there, not one person showed up. So, you know, it can be a real waste of your time as a business owner. And I think that we're all so busy. You know, you really don't want that happening. You really have to protect your time. So with group interviews, and this is quite common in retail, but you know, you can just sit people down. It can be a really quick process and say, you know, I just need, I'm inviting you to a group interview. This is sort of step 1. We're going to have, you know, maybe 20 to 30 minutes of questions. And these can be questions that are, you know, very, very specific in terms of, tell me a time when you, you know, had a customer complaint, how did you solve it? Or, you know, describe what you think that a day in the life of a professional cleaning consultant is. So you can start to see what their conceptions are of this job, and you can correct any of that or better inform people at that interview. So again, this is sort of getting as much sort of communication and explaining the job itself. So you want to go to a group interview with that in mind. So saying, okay, I'm sort of here, I'm going to talk a bit about the job, I'm going to talk about the position available, and then we're going to go around in a circle. I'm going to ask questions, and then people can sort of answer around in a circle. And then from that group interview, that's when you can schedule your one-on-ones. Again, you can do that in person. or you could even do it over the phone because now you've already met them. So if you want to follow up with people that you enjoyed, that you think are, good candidates from that group interview, now you can take it a step further with the ones who were successful, and then the other ones can sort of get cut.
Thank you. I do want to remind people that the recording of this webinar will be given out within the next 24 hours. You'll get an email. And if you don't access it from there, you can always go to issa.com/issa-tv and find the webinars under that section. I don't believe Katie is giving out the presentation itself. I'm sorry about that, but you can always watch the recording.
I definitely can. If anyone just wants to send me an email, I'd be happy to do that. I do have the slides. I can send those out. And if anybody, I have some samples and freebies and things like that with the training programs from GLSEN Academy. So if you want to send me an email or sign up on my website with your email, I'd be happy to share both this presentation and anything else, any other samples and freebies that I have.
Well, thanks for adding that, Katie.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Another question. This one's not necessarily related to hiring or training, but just wants to see if you could answer this for them. What is the brand/cost of your steamer? And all of the teams have one, and do they must use it for every cleaning?
Yes. The steamer is Dupray, D-U-P-R-A-Y. There's many different models ranging from $229 US, I believe, because we just bought one when we were down in San Diego for the San Diego house. And it goes all the way up to thousands of dollars. I have both the Dupray 1, and I have, so that's the white one, that's the second most expensive, and I have the least most expensive. And the least expensive is actually my preferred. It's a little bit smaller, it's easier for the staff to carry. It comes with all the attachments they need, and it's, again, about $220. It cuts down enormously on cleaning labor, and they literally can push a button of steam and it takes away so much. It's an incredible machine. It cleans beautifully, and it you really can't make a mistake with it. It's an exceptional machine. I definitely recommend it, and yes, I supply them to all my staff. And clients love it. And truthfully, what's really important, like I said, when I started my business, we were eco-friendly, 100% eco-friendly. That was sort of unheard of here. It was a really big deal. I got a lot of media attention and clients really liked it. Of course, then everybody started doing it. And now I, again, want to be different, want to be cutting edge, want to be creative. And I can tell you that telling clients that you're not only, like I said, making their house Instagram pretty, but you're actually killing all the dust mites. The Dupray will even kill bed bugs. So of course, hopefully none of your clients actually have that. Down in San Diego, because it's a vacation home, it had sit still for quite some time. There was a significant, it's from the like built in the 70s as well. It's in Pacific Beach, so an older home, and there's a lot of dust and disintegration with things. So my boyfriend is very sensitive to that and had a lot of issues when we were there the first couple days. So we ordered the Dupray from Costco, had it delivered within a few days. We went crazy Dysoning and steam cleaning every square inch of that place. It was like a new condo, within a few hours, and all his health issues disappeared, and my dad's as well. My dad has like a nonstop cough these days. I don't know what's going on with him. He's asthmatic, older. Almost all his issues were completely gone too. So my parents are big believers in it as well. So on a microscopic level, it's actually cleaning. And in terms of your marketing, I told you, we do a lot of cleaning for NHL players, and to be able to tell those NHL players that every week that we're coming to clean, that we're killing all the viruses that could be present in their house, that's really important to somebody who, whose body has to be in top physical condition all the time. This can mean the difference between winning a Stanley Cup or not. So I take my responsibilities very seriously. Dupray, they also have really, really good support. when I was first using it, I was using it on a house, a move-out house, a very old house, and I had an issue. I wasn't sure with something. I called the 1-800 number, spoke to a real person who walked me through everything. So really, really good support and good training videos on their website as well.
Thank you for that, Katie.
You're welcome.
I got another question about the trainers, the new trainers. For newbies, hold on, let me get this. I don't want to read it all together. Newbie is training for all those weeks with a supervisor. 2 people are getting paid. You mentioned that you reduced the rates for the training houses. How does that financially work out? Seems like a lot of expenses and not a lot of profit. Could you elaborate a little bit?
Well, I mean, when they're training, they're cleaning. So they're paid clients. You don't have to discount the appointments that much. They're going to take, I find, they're going to be longer appointments. So when you're paying by the hour, that employee is going to be a little bit slower for sure. So when it comes to questions about profit and money, everybody ask these questions, and all you need to do is the math. So do the math. What are you paying? If you're paying, you know, $18 an hour for training and they're there for 3 hours, what is that costing you, plus, you know, your taxes or your employer contributions to the government, take in a little insurance and WCB, workers' comp, whatever it is. You know, you have to know what an employee actually costs you. So if you're training or paying them mileage, if you're paying them drive time, which is usually, you know, has to be done, you need to know what those expenses are. So you need to know what a new hire costs you by the hour. You need to know what your real employees are costing you by the hour, not just, you know, what their wage is, but what they're truly costing you. And if you can't figure that out, you need to talk to your accountant. You need to know what that is. Then you need to know what you're billing your client, and you need to make sure that there is profit on that. Now, there might not be a ton of profit on a trainee on the, you know, on the initial end of it, and that's okay. You, like, as a business, you're hoping that you can recover your costs for the most part. So you know, you want to make sure that you're pricing your appointments that, you know, at the very least, that you're covering your costs. You shouldn't be out of pocket when you're training. That's the beauty of having paying clients, is that they should be covering your training costs and maybe helping you make a little bit of profit as well. But ideally, covering your training costs, you're already going to be way ahead of the game compared to people in a lot of industries where you're paying them to actually go and sit in training sessions and do things, and they're not actually working and producing any results, and they're not being paid. If you can send them as, you know, as trainees to appointments and get paid to do that, then you're covering your costs and hopefully profiting as well. So you just have to make those numbers work for you, and that's just all about math. And even if you don't love math, you have to figure that out as a business owner, or you're not going to be in business for very long. Also keep in mind that the training period for new hires isn't that long. Now, they're going, like I said, it can take months to become a really good cleaner that you can trust to go out there and be like a team lead, so that they're signing off on the appointment and they know what to look for and they can meet all the challenges that come with a cleaning appointment, especially with a new customer. But the initial training process shouldn't really take more than 2 weeks. And again, most of those customers should all be paying customers. So you're not having them, you know, it is expensive when they're just sitting and watching training, and that's why it's sort of important to balance, you know, the actual learning with on-the-job and hands-on work. So again, you just have to know what the numbers are and make sure that they work for you. And like I said, it doesn't have to be like a 50% discount. You know, I like to try different things. So, you know, maybe a regular cleaning is going to cost $330, and I'll say, okay, for $295, you can have this, you know, this cleaning, and you send somebody who might be a little bit slower, who's still training under somebody else's supervision. But, you know, that's not cutting into your profits very much. And then if you really need training houses, you know, I go as low as 50% sometimes. But also remember that a new hire has to prove themselves to you. So you don't owe them 40 hours a week the second that they start. I never promise that. I say, you know, you come on board, you start training, and when, you know, I don't say it in a threatening way, of course, you say it in a good way, in a positive way, but you want, basically the message is, you have to prove to me that you're worth the clientele that I'm sending you. So that's why they sort of need to work under someone else. They need to work with supervision at all times. That person needs to take responsibility for the appointment. That trainee is, you know, they already are coming to you with a certain set of skills, because yes, they know how to spray and wipe a kitchen countertop. You know, we all know how to do that. So they know how to do that. They have a general understanding of how to clean. So now you're working on building a system with them so that they learn how to clean efficiently and perfectly without missing anything, while they're also learning the soft skills. And that's why you sort of want to have them cleaning and making money essentially, and learning those soft skills with something like Glisten Academy. So they are learning some practical as well, but they're also learning a lot of that on the job. So that's where they start perfecting things. But again, just in conclusion, you need to make sure that you know your numbers, you know what clients are paying, and you know what your staff are costing you truly, with all your employer contributions and all your insurance and all of that. You need to know what that number is, and never deviate from that. So you have to know what your bottom, you know, your rock bottom price is on anything, to make sure that you're covering your costs.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just wanted to verify, Katie, which email did you want people to reach out to you? Is it the
Katie, well, you can email me at katie@glistenacademy.com. Yes, that should be it.
All right. For those that didn't hear, just reiterating, katie@glistenacademy.com is where you can find her and get in contact with her.
And I will, Katie, if you can, this is Erin, I will email you, or if you can email the presentation to me, I can send that to everybody, and I'll include your email address.
Perfect. Wonderful. And yes, like I said, feel free to follow me on Instagram. I get lots of messages on there, in my Facebook group as well. Add me as a friend on Facebook. I've got lots of clean business owners on that too. So definitely keep in touch. And then I will be, of course, as Erin said, I'll be at the show in Vegas next month. So I know I'll see some of you there as well. So I can't wait to see everyone.
Awesome. Thank you. That wraps it up on my end.
Perfect.
Okay. Again, thank you, Katie, for doing the call today. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
Okay, I think that's it for today. Again, if you have any other questions, I'll send Katie's email out to everybody. And if you haven't registered for the show, please, I suggest you please do so. As you can see today, Katie's got a lot of good information, and we have a great speaker lineup for you there. In addition, it's Vegas. It's always a good time in Vegas.
Can't wait.
All right, we'll see you in Vegas. Thank you.